Well, good morning, all my friends out there in TikTok land. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday morning. The wood stove is empty this morning because yours truly forgot to load up firewood, and I thought that I still had some here at the shop, so I got here this morning and I did not. And in typical Monday morning fashion, the first guy in the shop is this beautiful, almost champagne color 325 BMW coupe with low miles that needs an engine. That's right, Monday morning is starting off with an engine swap. So while I'm a little cold and I'm a little cranky, I'd like to wish everyone a wonderful Monday morning. Stay positive, folks. Let's get at it. 2001 Mazda Millennia. This has the 2.5 V6. It is a 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 6-cylinder in it. We're doing a knock sensor, right? Sounds easy enough. You just remove the air box and the battery and about 4 million coolant lines, and then the throttle body and the gear shifter linkage, and then the lower radiator hose and
ground wires.
All the ground wires, 3,802 vacuum hoses. That's just on the back. Then you take the intake loose, fold it up. Oh, you can't do that until you take the EGR pipe off the back of the intake manifold that goes to the rear cylinder head, and pull out all the spark plug tubes on the back of the engine, because they're like half a mile long because they have to go through the intake. Once you get all of that off, you think you're home free, but no, because you got to take the fuel line loose from the rail to get the intake to fold up far enough. And then once you've done that, this coolant crossover pipe that goes from the stupid thermostat housing across the inside of the valley to the other side where the water pump sits down in there, you have to get it off, and it's never been off in 32.5 million years, so that O-ring seized, and no amount of crawl or free-all is going to get it loose. You just got to pry and pray to God and go to church Sunday afterwards. Then you can get to that one little knock sensor right there. But it's a 24 millimeter, and you don't have a 24 millimeter socket with a slot in the side of it, so you got to cut the pigtail off the old one and use a wrench from the Great Depression to tighten the new one in there.
It's supposed to look like this.
Because it's supposed to look like this. A $20 part off of Rock Auto will cost you $400 in labor.
Look at that.
To get it off. And look, we've spent hours tearing this thing down.
2 minutes.
For not even 2 minutes to change that one little knock sensor. Now you've got to put new crossover coolant tube O-rings in it. You got to change a couple heater core hoses because they ripped. Intake gaskets if you want to do it the right way. And you got to pump all the water out, bleed the coolant system, put all this back together, readjust the gear shifter cable, put the EGR pipe back on the back with the new washer on it so that it doesn't leak. Put the battery and the bracket back in, 4 million little brackets that hold vacuum lines in. You're going to spend about an hour trying to figure out where every vacuum line goes because your all data is being stupid and can't pull it up for a Millennia for some reason. All of that because your check engine light comes on sometimes for a knock sensor. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk and letting me blow off some steam. Don't ever replace a knock sensor in a Mazda Millennia if you can help it. Just leave the check engine light on. I mean, unless you just want to pay me. That's fine too. Yeah. Yeah. Same process, except no coolant tubes if you want to do valve covers. So have fun with that, Mazda! Do you have an older BMW? And is your brake light on, but the parking brake's not up? You might be low on fluid. Let me show you how to check that. So once you get the hood open, if you look, you'll notice you're not going to see any place to put brake fluid. So let me show you how to get to that. You're going to go up here on the driver's side to this big old box. You're going to unplug this little connector, just like that. There's a clip right here. This lid comes off. Your cabin air filter comes out. Make sure you check these every now and then. You're breathing the air that goes through this. Now you're going to pop each one of these 3 little clips in the up position and slide this back. This is going to twist counterclockwise, and voila. There you go. Grab the box here, pull up and away, and ta-da, there's where your brake fluid goes on a BMW. This is for most older 3 and 5 series cars. Now we can add fluid. Ta-da! Public service announcement. If you own a vehicle made after the year, let's say 2000, chances are it has a cabin air filter. Now, what is a cabin air filter? It's an air filter inside the cabin of the car, and it filters the air that you breathe inside your vehicle. You're in a closed space unless you have your windows down. And the air that circulates through the car or from the outside into the car is filtered through this. So you are breathing this. These things are usually relatively cheap, between like 10 to 30 bucks or so, I think. What was this one? $20 for this cabin air filter. It's located right behind the glove box door. A simple YouTube search will usually tell you where they are on your car and how to change them. That's what a brand new cabin air filter looks like. You can see nice and clean. And here's one that someone didn't know it had, and so they never changed it. This is your cabin air filter. This is what you are breathing inside your car. So all those air fresheners and stuff and the little trees you got hanging on your windshield, it makes the air smell nice, but it doesn't make it breathe any nicer, now does it? This is your cabin air filter. This is your cabin air filter on drugs. Don't let your cabin air filter do drugs. Change your cabin air filter. Only you can prevent dirty cabin air filters. Good morning, TikTok. So today I have a 2000 Nissan Pathfinder in here for a pre-sale inspection. Pop the hood, let's get in it. Right off the rip, I noticed that we've got valve covers leaking a little bit on both sides. They are damp. Got a newer battery in it though, and a newer distributor. That's a good sign. Now these motors run off a timing belt along with a bunch of other engines. So it's good to have a look around for a sticker like this one, indicating that the belt has been replaced with the Gates brand and the mileage was indeed wrote down. Antifreeze is full and green. Engine oil is full, doesn't look too bad. Transmission fluid's a hair low. We'll check for a leak underneath, but it smells good. We'll also check it again with the vehicle running. I don't see any damage to the front radiator support area, so no indication of an accident. And if we go underneath, nothing is very wet or bad looking for a 20-year-old vehicle. Everything looks okay. So now stay tuned. We'll start checking out the interior and moving on to the outside inspection. Looks like our fog lights are not working. I do have them turned on. Turn signals seem to work. All the body lines look pretty decent going through here. Dirty, but no indications of hail damage or anything. Ding right behind the door. Some stress cracking on the bumper where it's been tapped. Tail lights and turn signals are on and working. The exhaust pipe has been painted black. That's a good indicator it came from another local car lot. And the spare tire is not hanging underneath. That's because it's mounted on the vehicle. So we're going to need struts for that rear hatch. Those are toast. I don't see any indication of rust. Couple little dings in the door. Body lines still look good. Wiper blades, while dirty, look okay. And no indication of rust down here in the rockers either. Looks like we got a damp spot from something. Let's find out. Overall, still looking good. Now let's go underneath for part 3. And part 3, here we go. She's up in the air. Let's start looking. Starting here at the transmission. U-joints look good. Back of the trans looks okay. Pan is a little damp. What is this? What do we have here? We've got a bolt not tightened up in the transmission pan and one missing altogether. You can see some fluid drips on the bottom of the pan and right here off the line at the front. Look at this. We've got fluid leaking from between the bell housing and the transmission itself. Not a good sign. We've also got motor oil dripping right here off the top of the starter. That could be valve cover related since those were leaking bad. And the same thing on the other side from this engine mount and up here going up the bell housing. See that drop about to come off of the sensor? Odds are most of that's from the valve cover leaks, but we'll check it out. And when you wiggle both front wheels, we've got play in both the front wheel bearings. Can you hear it? Good morning, TikTok. Just a little update on what's going on today. We've got a Nissan Frontier in here with a water leak that was here on Friday. This Saturn Ion thing is back in here for, what was this, AC leak? AC leak and a O2 code. And an O2 code. Then over here, we've got another Ford Ranger, because the car lot loves Ford Rangers. And this guy features the 3-liter Vulcan pushrod V6, and it has blown its head gaskets. Just pukes cooling out everywhere, runs hot immediately. It looks like someone might have put some maybe some liquid glass or something in it at one time to try to stop it. The truck itself is in really, really good shape besides the engine, and only has a $1.71 on the clock. So we went and picked up a new motor for this thing this morning. We're gonna yank this guy out and stab the new motor in. Hopefully I'll have it done today. 2009 Nissan Murano. Customer dropped it off yesterday, and they dropped it off with a list. Check engine lights on, it needs a tune-up. They guess the driver's side headlight has water in it. Replace the seal, which that's not a common practice anymore. Tire pressure sensor light is on, and supposedly they just had someone do some work to it, and they've left all the covers and other things loose on it. So first let's scan it. In the floor, right there. And random cylinder misfire, AF sensor, Bank 1A cam position, timing system, performance. Rut-row. Yeesh, time to dig in. Everybody start placing your bets. We'll update you as we go. Time to run it and check our cam timing data. Alrighty, boys and girls of the internet. So it looks like Nana Joe brought her Nissan to us because it has no AC. The system is charged, everything works. We have power to the compressor, but we have no AC, so let's fix it for her. Drain a little bit of antifreeze out, we pulled the electric fans, now we can get right in there to the compressor. Now with the belt removed, it's time to evacuate the AC system. New compressor is installed, plugged in, and the lines are hooked up. Let's get the belt on. This is in, cooling fans are in, everything's hooked up. Let's top her back off with antifreeze. Now we can start it up, double check the cooling system, and fill her full of Freon. With the system vacuumed, it calls for about 16 ounces of Freon. Oh, I don't know if you can see it down there, but the compressor's on now. There we go, 45 degrees coming out of the vents. Now we'll take the car around the block, make sure the compressor continues to cycle and pump out cold air while you're driving. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there. All right, Nana Joe, stay cool this summer. On to the next one. I heard you guys wanted a morning report update on how far we got. So let's do it. The green 5 Series car has its motor and transmission out, and we borrowed its front wheels to move the wagon. We moved the wagon right along inside here yesterday. Got the front clip pulled off of it. Here is its bad motor sitting on the ground and good transmission. Here's its donor engine that we were having to swap everything from. Intake manifold's different, wiring harness is a little different, compressor, alternator, all that stuff's a little bit different for the wagon. So we're swapping all that crap off this motor, taking all the good stuff off this motor, putting it on that motor. I'm going to put that motor back into that car. So that's where we have gotten to this morning, and now it is lunchtime, and now we're going to lunch, ain't that right? Yes, yes we are. So there's your Wolf of Rust morning report, and I'm thinking Chick-fil-A for lunch. Thule, that was your custom plate. What a waste. So this is my OEM tool brand Evaporative Cooler. Pretty much a porta-cool, and here's how big of a difference it makes. So the little thermostat I have zip tied on the front is hovering around 91 degrees today inside the shop. We're gonna start with turning just the fan on. And we'll see how far that takes it down. Okay, so with the fan on, it cooled it down about 1 degree. Now let's turn on the pump, and that's gonna start bringing the water from the basin and trickling it all down these fins. As it trickles down these fins, it gets absorbed into them, and the fan pulls the cool air through the fins, through the water, and that's what cools the air. So let's give this a minute, and then let's check that temperature again. So she's still dropping. So we're at 80 degrees now, and we ran the fan first, and the fan dropped it like a degree or so. We kicked the water on. That's almost 11 degrees difference, and this thing will push out some air. Now I've still got my exhaust fan running, and I've got a garage door open for circulation. You don't want just this thing running, because it's gonna make it really humid. Make sure it can vent. But let me tell you, if you don't have a porta-cool or one of these, I highly recommend you invest in one. This one came from AutoZone or Advance Auto. I can't remember, one of the two. It was on sale. They run like 550, 600 bucks, somewhere around in there. Worth every penny. And the temperature is still dropping. Probably get down to about 78 or so. Y'all want to go for a cold start on the old Mercedes? I tried to get the hood open to prime the injection pump, but the hood latch broke, so it won't come up any higher than that. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? This thing features a diesel engine with 378,000 miles. It is a turbo diesel. Oh, we still got power. Turn the key on, turn our glow plugs on, and we'll wait for that light to go out. And the light's out, so we'll cycle it off, back on one more time, and it's out. So let's crank it. Wow, look at that. The tach doesn't work, but it's running. And this thing's been sitting for a while. Listen to her go. Ready for the open road again. Good morning, everybody. This is going to be part one of going to work during a hurricane. And I'm actually going to move this car before we leave so that the tree, if it falls, doesn't fall and hit it. So let me go move that first. Good Lord. Apparently, besides wind and rain, this is going to be a perfectly normal drive to work. Well, that was easy. We're at work. Let's go get something done. You ever had one of them Fridays that feel like a Monday? So thanks to the tropical storm that came through with the high winds, it tore down a lot of trees, knocked down a lot of power poles. It killed all the cell phone towers in our area, so we had nothing. Also, the generator didn't run, so my house was without power and ruined all the groceries that we just bought. The AC hose that is supposed to go on the Explorer was the wrong one because this one has rear heat and air, so that was a bust. Then this morning, as I was leaving for work, I grabbed the rims for Dad's 65 Galaxy to put the new tires on them so we can put those on. And while I was loading it, I hit it against the back glass and knocked the window out of the camper top on the big red Ram. So, oh, and yes, I told you I was going to use the filter. Here I am using the filter. So I guess today I'm just going to clean up the shop. I've been hunting around for a rear glass and I can't seem to find one anywhere, so I'm probably gonna have to have one cut and made for me. What else is a pup to do, I guess, right? But no matter what, chin up, stay positive. We're gonna make it a good day. The weekend's almost here.